Hello, everybody. I haven't done an update for a couple of weeks, I think. I have just finished Taxol number 8. Well, I just had the infusion a couple of days ago. So I'm really close to the end now. I have 4 more Taxol, weekly Taxol sessions to go. And I'm feeling pretty good. So couple of little bits and pieces, I guess, to update on. And overall, though, I'd say most of my Taxol updates have been quite similar. I haven't really noticed huge changes week to week in terms of the general symptoms. So my energy levels have been pretty good. Haven't really had a whole heap of nausea. Still find that I struggle sometimes to figure out what to eat. Things don't always taste as good as they did before, but it certainly isn't the really gross kind of taste that you get with AC. So overall, not many of those AC related symptoms. I'm not spending days in bed. I'm spending probably a little bit longer in bed at night and just making sure I have a good quality sleep. But I wouldn't say that the fatigue is particularly noticeable. Brain fog has lifted mostly. I definitely feel awake again. I do find sometimes my attention isn't the greatest, but I think that could also just be deconditioning after spending a couple of months in a fog with AC. In terms of new symptoms or progression of symptoms, I have had some neuropathy. I mentioned in one of my videos earlier on, I think it was probably round 3 when I first noticed some tingling in my fingertips or sensitivity. That has kind of remained. Some cycles it's been slightly more pronounced than others. Often it's got better over the course of a cycle, but this last cycle, so cycle 7 of Taxol, I noticed that the fingertip sensation continued throughout the entire cycle and possibly even intensified a little bit towards the end of the cycle. And alongside that, I noticed some neuropathy on my foot as well. So the area that it showed up on my foot, it was actually just my right foot, was actually not in the toes. It was towards the back of the foot, kind of like the ball of the foot, like the edge closest to the arch. Similar-ish location to where you might have your have plantar fasciitis. I've had that before, but it wasn't plantar fasciitis. So what it felt like was I was standing on something or something was stuck to my foot. The first time I noticed it, I was in the shower and I lifted my foot up to check whether I had like a, I don't know, like a cotton ball or, a makeup pad stuck to the bottom. That's kind of how it felt. I noticed when I pressed on it though, it was more just sort of a numbness sensation. And I compared the 2 feet and I didn't have it in the other foot. It's not painful, it just feels a bit weird. So that kind of came on the last couple of days of the round 7 of Taxol. I mentioned all of this to the oncology team at the hospital and they said it seems fairly mild. There was no justification to reduce the dose at this point. They'll just monitor. It was disheartening because I have been icing and I was hoping for the best, that I wouldn't have any of the neuropathy. But look, it's not terrible, and it hasn't progressed significantly over the first sort of 8 weeks of Taxol. So I'm hoping it kind of stays at that level. And worst case scenario, I'm so close to the end now that if I do have to reduce the dose or miss the last 1 or 2, my oncology team had previously said that would still probably be acceptable. So I'm feeling okay about it. In other news, my eyelashes are starting to come back in. These are clearly not my real eyelashes because, they're pretty non-existent still. I probably have about 5 on either side that are funny, long, straggly eyelashes, but they're coming back in. I've got some stubble forming on the upper and the lower lids. Not a huge amount, but enough, and it's exciting for me. I've just noticed it sort of sprouting through in the last week. My eyebrows, it's hard to tell still. I don't have a whole heap of eyebrows. Again, these are stamps today. And I can't tell if there's new growth, but there's certainly a shadow where my eyebrows would usually be. So I think that possibly is some new growth there too. My hair still has that growth that I mentioned a couple of videos ago. It's grown in length Can't really see it now, but it hasn't grown in any thickness. It's not dense at all, and so really I still look bald, which is a bit unfortunate. I would have liked to have had more hair by now. I have some hairs though on my head now that are, I'd say like half a centimetre, maybe even beyond that. Actually, probably a centimetre long, just little straggly ones, and it's nice and soft, but yeah, it is just not a huge amount of it still. It's all over, but it's just not dense all over at all. There are not even any patches where there's a lot of density, so I'm a bit sad about that because I was kind of hoping when I first saw the sprouts of those new hairs that I was going to have, lots of hair within a couple of weeks, but we'll keep at it. On the note of hair and lashes, I actually ordered UK Lash which is a serum that's meant to help grow your lashes. It's more for everyday lashes, growing them longer rather than your lost lashes due to chemo. But I've seen some fairly good reviews, so I've ordered it. I haven't got it yet, so I can't give you any information about how well it works or what it's like, but I'm looking forward to it. I also got just today, some hair growth spray, which is the company's Georgie Main. I'm not sponsored. I have never tried this product before, but did a little bit of searching around what other people have used and what they've seen benefit from. And Georgie Main was one of the brands that sort of came up, and it was one of the ones that was, for me, easiest to purchase in store. I bought it at Priceline for those people in Australia, whereas all of the other ones you had to order, and I don't want to wait. I just want to start putting something on now. So I rubbed some of that on today. And I'm going to hope for the best. My 4-year-old actually thought that by rubbing it on, he would see the growth straight away. He wanted to watch my hair grow. Had to explain to him that wasn't how it worked, unfortunately. Yeah, so not noticing any hair anywhere else in my body growing though, which isn't unfortunate at all because I don't miss the rest of the body hair. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, I'm really not noticing anything else. I'm feeling good. Looking forward to the end of chemo. Not long now. I can't believe it. We don't have a bell, I don't think, in my hospital to ring, but I'm definitely going to have some sort of celebration with some of the people who've been super supportive, some of my friends and colleagues and family, of course. I know this is more of my chemo updates, but also now know what my hormone treatment is going to be moving forward. So I will probably do videos on that too, but just a little bit of a sneak peek. So I am on Zoladex monthly at the moment to shut down my ovaries during chemo. That will continue for 5 years. And I will then also add on an aromatase inhibitor, to begin with letrozole or Femara, I think it's also called Femara. So I'll be starting that once I finished radiotherapy. So basically, because I'm premenopausal, they've got to shut down the ovaries in order for an aromatase inhibitor to have any real benefit. It does have a lot of benefit though. I was having a look at some of the research, and an aromatase inhibitor with ovarian suppression is actually even more even more successful at reducing recurrence than tamoxifen. So, it's certainly the best possible combination, I think, for me, and to reduce my chance of recurrence. But obviously a little bit scary. I've been fine with Zoladex. I really haven't had a terrible run of symptoms, other than some knee sort of joint pain. Maybe the occasional hot flash at night. I don't really notice it. I do have my fan on though. I'm in Sydney though, so it's still warm. It's just the beginning of autumn here. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really had terrible hormonal sort of or menopausal symptoms so far. So here's hoping that I don't have a bad experience with the aromatase inhibitor being added in. It's a bit scary, but obviously it's important. It reduces the risk of recurrence so significantly that I, am obviously going to give it a really, really good try. And when I say try, it would have to take a lot for me not to take the hormone treatment, because I want to throw everything I can at this for my kids' benefit. So I will take the letrozole. I will see how it goes. Worst case, my understanding is if letrozole does have terrible side effects, there are always other options. I can always try one of the other aromatase inhibitors, and worst case as well, try tamoxifen in the long run. So there are lots of options for the hormone treatment, which is good. So I'm not so worried there, because I'm thinking, well, surely one of the 4-ish sort of drugs that I could try for the hormones will sit okay with my body. So I'm being positive. looking forward to getting back to more normality in life. I am getting back to more normality in my day-to-day life, like looking after my kids. I'm still working a slightly reduced capacity, but or maybe 50% still, but that's more so because my treatment is on one of my work days at the moment. I think I could definitely increase my days now, and will do once my chemo finishes. But yeah, looking forward to having some hair again and looking less cancerish. So that's all that I'm kind of focused on now, is just trying to get back to some normality. I know I still have radiotherapy to go to, so the journey is not over, but the hardest part I feel is ticked off right now, so I'm excited. I will update again soon. Not long to go, so keep going, ladies. Bye.